different sort of lead ups to it. But the actual Santa Claus of which we understand, no, 1931. So all these things start lining up. I'm not fucking done. I know I had 10 minutes. Sorry, I fucking procrastinated. That's my life. Y'all deal with it. 3 clubs, baby. It's either 21 for you or 22. Not my fault. So with that said, the last thing that we have to keep in mind and why this all actually ties together, because again, even though we were out of the depression, even though people started making a little bit of money, even though we could drink again, like good shit, not the rock gut, which also, side note, that's how we got the cocktails. But anyway, so even though we're done with all that, people were still in some shit. So what do we need? We needed another fucking war, another goddamn world war, and this crazy ass woman who was occupying 1600 Pennsylvania Ave in 1959 being like, you know what? I'm going to fucking kick out, which by the way, with a surprisingly Jewish sounding name, Eisenhower, she's like, I'm going to kick out Christmas trees across the White House. I'm going to decorate the shit out of it. I'm going to take it to the umpteenth level. I'm going to do it way more than anyone's ever done it before. And she was so revered. That is actually how we got to what Christmas is now. So if you want to talk about the reason for the season, it's fucking Mamie Eisenhower. I can't even say it. It's so crazy. All this is crazy. But anyway, like I said, history and holidays, really just a collection of all the experiences that we have going into a certain point.
I absolutely love it. That was pure 3 clubs. That's exactly what I wanted to hear, especially if we're talking about the holidays. So well done. When you put it the way you did, Rashawn, I just have to say, shut the fuck up, Clark Griswold, and take your Jelly of the Month club, all right?
You know what I mean?
Fuck you.
You know what I mean?
And your in-ground pool.
Giving.
And your in-ground pool. Fuck you. You got 12 months of jelly, bitch. Do you realize how rich you seem by comparison?
In your city sewer system.
Absolutely. Orange or a piece of coal, and you're sitting there bitching. You got your house, you got your family there. None of them can hear. You got the squirrel and the Christmas tree. Come on, you're rich. Shut up.
But like, yeah, it's like when you break it down, that's like, I'm glad you said Griswolds, because like to me, they were sort of very emblematic of what we all wanted Christmas to look like, right? You have a nice house, you have the lights all over the place, you have the tree. Like that became so Americana that it makes no sense for just Christians to celebrate. Everyone should, it should be treated no different than Thanksgiving because it is long since left religion, long since left. Like what it is those Griswold moments. It's coming together, no different than Thanksgiving. We can talk about giving gifts. I've been lobbying my family not to give gifts for like the last 20 years. But the point being is like, it's not even about that, because I get why parents do it. I get why kids want to do it to their parents. So like, it's a nice feeling, but it's more universal and way more Americana than actual religious. So
amen.
As well be universal.
Well, thank you. As you do so well, you tied that up. You made it in some nice bunny ears. Brought it all together. Wrapped it up
Easter.
In a bow. No less. Boom. Boom. Wrapped it up in a bow. Put it in a box and presented it as a gift to me. Brought me right back around to again why I'm a Jewish man who has absolutely no problem celebrating Christmas. Merry Christmas, happy motherfucking holidays. Whatever you want. It is now, and now it is the Friday after Thanksgiving. So okay, you can commence. Bring out the Michael McDonald holiday album. Do that, okay? Or
get your red cup.
Yeah, that's fine. Get your red cup at Starbucks.
And I would have friends who would say that they would be Muslim or they would be Jewish, and they would say, they don't celebrate Christmas because obviously they're Muslim or Jewish. And I would say, why? You don't have a credit card? If you don't have a credit card, then you're right. Yeah, your ass ain't celebrating Christmas. But if you have a credit card, I mean, we're not that picky. Like you're really
everybody can get along. Well,
yeah, like we're really not that picky about it. Ramadan?
Yeah, exactly.
Call me. But yeah, fasting, no. Excess, yes.
Yes, exactly. Good thought right in Americana. Well, we lived, we laughed, we learned here. I mean, I think this was, a nice little meeting and getting together and get us into the holiday spirit.
Hell yeah. It's just one of those things that personal things that used to always trip me up when it comes to Christmas. one is as a kid, especially when you start to really understand what slavery was and the impact and how, oh shit, that was my family and things like that. It's hard to then be like, so wait, how do we get to Christmas? So like that's one thing, right? Like that's just like that big gap that like parents are like, we'll get to that and we'll explain it and why it's important, but let's just open up some presents. I'm like, I'm just saying, like it just kind of feels like all I'm doing is just redoing what the person who stole me here from.
I pointed out the amazing salesmanship it took to bring, Christians and bring the Roman Empire into Christianity. I think that also goes under that amazing sales job.
Yeah, I mean, well, it took for me to get older for my parents and like other educational components to be like, well, Christianity got adopted by slavery because that's the way slaves knew how they can learn how to read and send messages to each other and actually create a sub community within slavery that was so profoundly rich and robust that as soon as slavery was over, literally industries started from these individuals that were on par with what was already constructed, and in a lot of cases so scary people had to tear it down. But then the other thing is, on the flip side of that, I'll never forget, it was like 1989. Greg may remember this, but the Afrocentric explosion was happening hard for Black Americans. Like we were really pushing it back towards it. In some cases, a lot of people say it was the Different World effect, like because of different shows like Different World, HBCU admissions went up like hundreds of percent points. Like all these different things were happening. We're rocking, generic African colors. I'll have a whole different story on that and how it's like, wait, hold up. There's like 253 countries in Africa. How are you going to tell me these are the African colors? Like, what the fuck does that mean? But anyway, like everyone was, rocking the fists and stuff like that. Although it was kind of funny, a lot of us already had brushes and picks with the fists on it. So it was kind of like, I kind of feel like you're posturing. But I'll never forget, my mom comes home out of the blue. She's like, we're going to celebrate Kwanza. And my brother, my dad, and I all lined up. It's like, there's no fucking way. We're getting a tree. We don't care what we need. We're cutting that bush outside if it comes down to it. But we ain't celebrating Kwanzaa. She's like, but we're this and that. And that. They're like, nope. And then my dad's like, next year, you got to tell us we're going to stop eating pork. I'm like, see, that's how we get here. let's just keep it cool. Open up some presents on the 25th of December and just let it go. Like we can light some candles. So we had Kwanzaa candles for a couple of years, like actually a year, because my mom's like, yeah, I'm not doing all that.
I've called that period in between, nestled affectionately in between the civil rights laws and Reagan, as hands down the coolest time to be Black in this country. It will never be that good again, and it definitely wasn't that good before. Like the explosion of Black creativity and independence, and it was astounding. Like the more I dig into that period, I keep finding more and more. Like it's just unbelievably deep. And that's, we had a show about countercultures, all of the countercultures that were within that culture, all of the subgroups and things that were happening, especially like Chicago, Harlem, New Orleans. It was deep, unbelievably deep and beautiful. And yeah, it will never again be that cool to be Black. Some of the things that ended up coming out of that movement, I think the kente cloth is a perfect example, because they also had to reckon what they want their relationship to Africa to be. You know what I mean? Like it was, like me and Josh used to joke around about that movie Attica. You had that one inmate it was like, I want a boat back to Africa, and the dude in the back goes, "Motherfucker, I'm from Crown Heights." Like you had to kind of try to make, and find out, like, you want to get on the Black Star Line, or you just want to be able to buy one of those, triple deckers, like, like you're good. So it was an amazing, beautiful time. And the kente cloth kind of perfectly represents that. because people in Africa, like I think kente cloth itself is from Ghana, but like they were like, yeah, absolutely, you can adopt this, and becoming popular is good because we make money. There's a famous picture of Billy and Hilly wearing some kente cloth. Like kente cloth is just the default. This is African kind of clothes. So, for them, it's good business. For the United States, it's the usual social, economic, racial morass that everything eventually falls into. But the dashikis, you remember the dashikis,
I remember the dashikis.
And Kwanza and all of that was.
I think I'm gonna get you
as much as I love it, if you want to do that, that's you. All right, you go. But I just never got around to the kente cloth and Kwanza. Never did it.
I think I'm gonna get you suckered. Kind of nailed everything when Craig was talking about it in a few different scenes, and I would be remiss to say never again, but I would also like to add in Black Renaissance, post Civil War, and also Harlem Renaissance were two equally as great periods. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Greg. That period was definitely
that was it. Like we could definitely have that argument because what they were creating, you know what I mean? It was just Black people from space with a Herbie Hancock soundtrack, and it was absolutely fantastic. Like it was just unbelievable amount of self-expression. Like it was beautiful.
I think we've launched the holidays in fantastic fashion here, digging down, showing the origin stories here, and hell, Greg, I hear what you're saying about the past, and maybe a little part of me hopes you're wrong, because I'm certainly fine with the idea of more explosion, and more creativity. But I also hear what you're saying, because it was a hell of a time, even having lived through it and watching it from the outside.
So I would argue some of that's happening right now. I mean, I would argue that there's just as much of an explosion of creativity happening right now. Although I would also, the funny thing real fast, sorry, Josh, but real fast, the funniest thing about that period of time that we're talking about, especially in the late 80s, and one of the reasons why my dad was like, this is why we're not doing Kwanzaa, is because, to Greg's point, one of the weird things that had to happen, and this has to happen in a lot of culture clashes, right? Like women have to do this when they want to go full against the patriarchal systems. Like, okay, how far do you stop? Because your last name is from someone's father. So you have to keep going until you either change your name or you get to whenever you can find in your lineage that was a matriarch's name. Good luck with that, but whatever. And it was the same thing with Black Americans during that time period. It's like, okay, how deep are we going into this African-centric sort of motif when our last name is still of the slave bearer?
Well, those are still the questions, I guess, that face us, and will carry us forward. I hope, and I hope to a better place is what we always hope for. But bringing it back in, let's just start with the roundups. How you feeling now, Greg? After we've dug into the origin story of everyone's favorite Jesus Christ this fine afternoon.
I don't think I did too much for Jesus's image, but I don't think anyone's ever going to get tired of his birthday anyway. So no worries there. And just going to go back and keep recovering from Thanksgiving.
Oh, God bless you on that. Yeah. Feeling it still today.
I did not only have one plate.
Fair enough. And why should you, after all? It's just, it just keeps rolling and just keeps going on that. 3 of clubs, what are your final thoughts for the day?
So the reasons of the season probably isn't the birthday that we don't celebrate, because like I said, 1, we don't really know when it is, and 2, it most likely was in the summer. So we've already stopped caring about when that person's birthday is. And to be fair and clear to the holiday which we're talking about, it's attached to someone that a lot of people feel that came from the Middle East 4,000 years ago and looks paler than Josh. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, viewers, that is some absence of color, with hair as straight as silken fucking wool. So I don't understand how we got to this. I mean, I do, it's everything I pointed
okay.
out.